shed some light on a lot of BS that is going on in the world of boxing. But I'll talk about that later on. I'm definitely going to talk about Tank and his team walking away from a guaranteed 20 million up front. See, people not telling you the whole truth. And people, once again, they trying to negotiate on behalf of Tank and all that kind of stuff. You know, but I'll talk about that later on. But I did an interview with Bill Haney. It was almost 20 minutes long. Um, just got through edited. I'm gonna load it maybe within the next couple of hours. Make sure you check it out. And they basically gonna tell what's going on with trying to secure a fight in 2024 with Tank Davis. Now, a lot of people are attacking Bill, and I think it's unfair how people are, attacking Bill due to the fact that he making boss moves and he not finna be played and he not finna let his son be played. Isn't this what you guys want? And it just goes to show you that how come you don't have the same energy for Tank versus Devin Haney that some of y'all had for Spence versus Crawford? I want the same thing. I want fights. At the end of the day, my allegiance is to Bill and Team Haney, not on the payroll, but at the same time, they from where I'm from. But at the same time, I can be fair and objective. I just want the fight to be made. If the fight happens, when the fight happens, should the fight happen, of course I'm Team Haney. But at the same time, I don't have no ill will towards Tank and his team because I am a fan of Tank. But you seeing history repeating itself with Team Tank. They're taking the Floyd Mayweather blueprint. Stay away from the most dangerous black fighter. And if you are going to fight a black fighter, wait till they take a little bit of damage going on to fight other people, and then you get in the ring with them to have a better chance of beating them. So there you have it. But I'll speak on that later on. Of course, I'm going to speak on Sir Nose, Leonard Ellaby, and how he full of it, lying about the pay-per-view numbers, basically just to demean Tank. Everybody is pretty much seeing what's going on. And if you took a poll, most people are siding with Team Haney because they are pursuing this fight. They're trying to make this fight. There's no excuse why this fight can't be made. But like I said before, it's funny how the PBC can't seem to find their checkbook when it comes to making big fights between black fighters. But then basically they write, you know what I'm saying, pretty much a blank check for these non-black fighters or Hispanic fighters. And it's a pattern. I don't give a damn if you dudes are mad at me for calling out the PBC, calling out Leonard Ellaby, calling out Floyd Mayweather, calling out Al Heyman, because at the end of the day, you want to try to play that blackness card. Like I said, calling people coons and sellouts and all. Y'all are the real coons. Y'all the real sellouts. Like I said, do I agree with everything Bill says? Absolutely fucking not. But at the end of the day, me and Bill are men, and we can talk as men. Now, I want you to listen to that interview. And he gave me praise for suggesting the Chase Center. Because like I said, me and Bill talked about the Chase Center. Like I said, I'm trying to talk Team Haney to fighting in Atlanta, basically following the same path as Tank, selling out the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. Devin has a big enough following to sell out the State Farm Arena. What it really is, people mad at the fact that Bill is looking out for the best interests of his son. And he not about to let his son be played by no white man, no Mexican man, no other form of non-black man, and other black man as well. Like I said, Leonard Ellaby always trying to do this stuff. He always trying to downplay black fighters and stuff and try to demean them and devalue them. And that's the problem that I've had with the PBC and all the niggas that's aligned with the PBC, from the employees to the fighters to some of the trainers to everybody. But once again, you trying to label me a sellout for calling this out. Well, if that makes me a sellout, so be it. Because I stand on everything I say. And that's real talk. And the proof is in the pudding based off the fact that I'm telling the truth about the PBC, because as you can see, they clearly blackballed me and ostracized me from basically covering PBC events because I told the truth and I called them out. But it's funny. Now, for somebody that's going to sit up there and eventually come and say, well, what you expect? You always criticizing him. You always talk bad on Al Heyman. You always talk bad on the PBC. You always talk bad on the black people that's aligned with the PBC. Okay, so what about Steve Kim, who has went ham on the PBC over the years? Okay, what about Jim Lampley, who has called out the PBC, but they have let him broadcast fights? Once again, you don't have that same energy. You niggas don't have that same energy, but you always want to sit up there and make videos about black people that call out the PBC and try to insinuate that they're sellouts, Uncle Toms, and house niggas. Like I said, y'all the real house niggas. And I don't have to say you guys' names. So if they don't have no problem continuing to credential Steve Kim, because they can ban him just like they banned anybody else. They can ostracize him like they did Mike Coppinger a couple of times. They don't have a problem with what he says about the PBC, so why should they be bothered by what I say? Prove me wrong. And I have every right to be pissed off at the PBC because they tried to send me on a wild goose chase. They tried to make it look like they didn't credential me for the fight when they did, but then they was going to try to make me come to Las Vegas and then try to lie and say that I didn't apply and make me spend money, jump on a plane, get a hotel room, only to say that I didn't apply and try to basically turn me away and try to humiliate me. But they plan backfired because I got the heads up in advance that they was trying to pull that with me. But I don't see nobody making videos talking about that because you guys would rather protect people that don't even give a damn about you, where you from, or give a damn about the so-called community that they supposed to be part of. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. But anyway, let me talk about Showtime Championship Boxing. You know, they always say that terminology, good things come to an end. Didn't have to, but this is what I've been saying. Showtime got rid of the boxing program because keep in mind the PBC was the last whatever TV program they had. Obviously, it wasn't turning the profits that they want you to believe. But it's funny, they always sitting up trying to hate and PP on somebody else's pay-per-view numbers or what type of numbers they doing. But obviously they ain't doing the numbers that they, that they telling people they've been doing, because otherwise they would still have to deal with Showtime. Showtime would have extended the contract. Same thing as Fox. You see, Fox got rid of them because once again they felt it wasn't profitable because, as usual, they wasn't giving us the fights that we wanted. And Al Heyman likes to play these games. But I have a lot of fond memories of Showtime Championship Boxing. Too many fights to name, too many fights I saw, but it's unfortunate that it came to a halt. I really enjoyed it. It was sad when HBO got rid of boxing back in 2017, I think, 2017, 2016. Just unfortunate. But at the end of the day, this is why some people think boxing is a dying sport, because you always got these people that stand in the way of destiny, of history, all because these fighters want to protect their O. Like I say, this is what you call the Mayweather effect. And here we are now. And then this is also what you call the Al Heyman influence, because Al Heyman has his thumb on a lot of this stuff that be going on. He don't want to give, or he don't want to give his fighters or lease his fighters or rent, whatever you want to call it, to other promotional companies to make the biggest fights. But at the end of the day, they'll say belts don't matter, but then they'll try to tally up all the belts they can. And then here's the thing, they don't really be interested in pursuing fights with other promotional companies because a lot of times they lose purse bids. So like I said, if Showtime is out of business, unfortunately, it's because we wasn't getting the fights that we wanted. It took way too long to make Crawford versus Spence. And by the time it finally happened, it lost probably half its relevancy. Crawford versus Spence should have happened in 2022. But they had to have all these hurdles that the PBC was trying to put Team Crawford through to make the fight happen. Now, all of a sudden, that Crawford has devoured and evaporated Errol Spence. Now, all of a sudden, they're trying to make it look like Terrence Crawford is their guy. But it's unfortunate that it ended tonight. But I really enjoyed Showtime Championship Boxing. You know, I really don't have no problem with the broadcasting team. They did the best job they could. Now, some of their scoring, especially from Steve Farhood, was questionable. But for every time I thought that his fight card was way off base, there were fight cards and scoring cards where it was running coincide with mines. So it was hit or miss. But let's talk about tonight's events. It was kind of funny seeing the matchup between Robert Guerrero and Andre Berto, but at the end of the day, Andre Berto, he just can't beat Robert Guerrero. I thought for the most part, both men fought as well as they could to be both 40 years old. I think Robert Guerrero showed that he still got maybe possibly 2 or 3 more fights in him, depending on who the opponent is. Can he do anything with somebody like Jerron Boots Ennis? Nah, hell no. Nah. But is there some other guys out there he can fight? Yeah, as long as he put on a good performance. I thought he performed and fought well enough to continue fighting. I don't blame him. You know, Bernard Hopkins fought till he was 50. And he fought in an effective manner till he was 50 years old. You know, for the most part. He lost a couple of fights, a few fights on the way. But for the most part, he fought effectively till he was 50 years old, pretty much. You know? Now, Berto, this might be the last hurrah. But you know what? You know who I like to see Andre Berto fight? And I think it's a fight that could be made. It could be a good undercard fight. I like to see Berto versus Kareem Mayfield. That'll be a great fight. You know, that'll be an entertaining fight. I'm gonna call Kareem and see can he do anything to make it happen. You know, see can they figure out a way to make that fight happen. I think that'll be a fun undercard fight for the next pay-per-view event that the PBC may have. It appears that they're gonna get started in March, apparently, or maybe February. We'll just have to see. Based off the details of the upcoming deal with Amazon, we'll just have to see what the contract is made out of. Now, the second fight, Jose Venezuela, great fight, man. He fought a great fight, and he basically leveled Colbert. So in the grand scheme of things, it was a great way to close out Showtime Championship Boxing. And David Morrell, looking at David Morrell, he's only going to get better. You know, he's only 10 fights in. I don't think he's quite ready for David Benavidez as of yet. I don't think he's ready for Canelo as of yet. But I think if you keep him fighting and you keep him active 2 or 3 years from now, if Canelo decides to stick around, then yeah, he gets better every fight. I was impressed with what I saw. He has a awkward style of how he throws punches, a little unconventional, but it's effective. But you know, his straight rights and the way he jabs is on point. And he's very particular on how he throws punches. Defense could be retooled a little bit, but besides that, I think that David Morrell is going to be a force to be reckoned with within the next coming years. Like I said, when you think about it, there's really no need to make him and David Benavidez right now. I think that's a fight that can be did 2 or 3 years down the line. He need to get more experience. He only got 10 fights in. I think he's maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 fights away before I think he could be in a competitive and very competitive fight with David Benavidez. I would have to make David Benavidez an overwhelming favorite to win that fight, and probably he would stop Morale. But 2 or 3 years from now, yeah, when he's seasoned, David Benavidez is more seasoned. Yeah, that'll be that'll be headbangers ball. It'll be an explosive, great fight. But it really comes down to what's going to go on with Canelo. Like I said before, if Canelo fights Jaime Munguia next, Canelo will come across as a straight liar and a fraud. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. Be back later on, gonna load the video and got some other stuff to do. But anyway, appreciate you guys being here. It's your boy Town. I'm out.